Look how far we've come, all the things we've done. Did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view. But there's nothing more, girl, you make my heart beat.
And I am back. I am back, ladies and gentlemen. 'Tis I is here. We're going to do a couple of things a little bit differently today. I'm not doing multiple cameras today. It's just this one camera. I have my teleprompter pulled up because I wrote something that I want to get into, and then we're going to get into more Reddit stuff, relationship, divorce, Reddit stuff. Go from there. So I think the first thing that I want to get into, though, is let you guys know that I have a teleprompter pedal so that I can move the teleprompter without having to use my hands, because I've been recording all my content with my arm over here and it's been really weird. I don't have to do that anymore. So I'm pretty excited about that. I got my chat pulled up so I can see the chat. Recording live in front of Patreon like we do every time that we go live. So if you guys are not a member of our Patreon, you are missing out. Shout out to the tribe. All right, I'm going to read some Reddit stories because you guys seem to really like these. This first one's called 3 Years Later and I Regret Everything. What a shitty title. I hope that that's not really how they feel. 3 years later and I learned so much. 3 years later and I know what not to do in my next relationship. 3 years later and I realized that I was really hurt, but I'm a better person now. There are so many better ways to word this, guys. The way that we talk to ourselves, whether we're sarcastic or joking or making offhanded comments and things like that, the body doesn't know the difference between you joking, you being serious, or anything like that. And the power of your speech and the vibration and your frequency, when you do that to yourself, fucking messes your body up. I am so big on making sure that like that's not how I approach things. Not looking forward to reading this one. And it's not even very long. It's relatively short. This one says, I was so unhappy when I was married, but now that I am divorced and everything is better, I am sadder than I have ever been. I miss my husband. There it is. He was my person and I threw it away. I keep trying to get over it, to be a better me, to move on, meet someone else, move forward. But every day that passes, I get worse. The loneliness is killing me. Dating other people makes me feel even more alone. It just puts a point on how I will never meet someone who loves me the way that he did. I threw it away for the dream of something better that doesn't exist. I can't let go and I can't move on. I don't know what to do with myself anymore. Wow. That is not where I thought that was going. And that falls right back into the beginning of this episode with that whole fucking thing that I had just read, right? It really does tie right back into that. You have people that are fucking quick to just end their relationship and move on because their TikTok is telling them that you should end your relationship and find someone better because your man doesn't meet the bare minimum of somebody else's fucking standards when they're perfect for you and you're happy. And you start getting all this external stimuli that shouldn't be there. And you start believing all this bullshit and you end up destroying what is a beautiful thing with somebody who is good for you just because the grass could potentially be greener way the fuck over there. And then you find yourself in positions like this, guys. I see TikToks every day of women crying on their fucking TikTok, talking about I shouldn't have left him. I should have stayed. All I want is my family back and he's moved on and he's happy. Like, unreal. All right, this next one's called I Am Starting to Regret Divorcing Him. Oh, this is going to be the theme. This is going to be the theme. I am now a single mom, 41, and divorced my ex-husband, 39, 6 months ago. I have a kid, 7, of a previous relationship, and 3 years ago when I met my now ex-husband, he accepted it. And eventually, when we moved in together, he became almost the father of my kid. We got married after 2 years of relationship, and we got pregnant. Everything looks perfect. He was the perfect father for my kid and possibly the new one. But then we lost the pregnancy in the 3rd month and he got depressed. We started having small discussions about nonsense at home. And the father of my kid was also giving us lots of problems with the kid's schedule. It affected him even more because we had very little time for the two of us. I want to talk on the loss of a child and how hard that is on men. I know that it does not affect us the same way that it affects a woman because the child is not living in us. There is not an organism in our stomach that parasite that is sucking the life out of you, because that's ultimately what they do. You give it life, and we don't experience to that degree, but there's still a loss that happens in knowing that, you know, we're still losing a kid. There's a whole lot that goes into that. That's not something that a lot of men talk about. And a lot of men will not even really have a discussion with their peers about it. Like it's just another nonchalant thing. You talk about it as if it's some event that has happened in past instead of something that's actually affecting you, because that's the normal way that we go about things like this. So men end up pushing them down. So the fact that he got depressed the way that he did doesn't shock me at all. The fact that you noticed, though, kudos to you. And, you know, we can get into the conversation about not having time for each other as well, but I think that we've talked about that enough on the podcast that I don't need to get into that. The amount of discussions were growing. And at some point I was feeling stressed just from his presence. I do have to say he was very attentive and still did all of his duties at home. And he always came home early to spend time with the kid. But my anxiety kept growing because of the small discussions, and I exploded. I wasn't ready to be in a marriage like that. You weren't ready to be in a marriage where you had discussions with people? You weren't ready to be in a marriage where you said, for sickness and health and death do us part, and you guys lost a baby and he's processing the death the same as you are, and you shut him out and he's having to deal with it on his own and not able to talk to you? I told him I want to divorce him and to get out of the house. For him, it was a big impact. He cried and begged to work things out, but I was done. My feelings for him were gone. He keeps saying he was willing to change, that he would do anything to keep our family, and that he was extremely sorry for his behavior and taking me for granted. And he started going to therapy to fix our problems. And reading books and family relationships and parenting. For 2 months, he kept saying that he wanted to work. He was working a lot to become a better husband, and he even showed me the receipts of the therapist and the books, so I believed him. He was making lots of progress. He was extremely sweet, and it broke my heart a bit to see how much effort he was putting into having me back, but my feelings were gone. I wanted him out of the house, so I filed for a divorce and forced him out. For the last few weeks, he keeps apologizing and telling me he doesn't hate me, and that if I reconsidered the decision to please contact him, that he will always love me and my kid. I have a problem with that. And I'll get into that when I'm done. He was a very, very good man and a very good stepfather to my kid, but I didn't love him back then anymore. So the day of the move came 4 months ago, and he insisted on contacting him if I regret my decision. I felt an instant relief, no more fights, no more discussions, and I hated him for forcing me to do that. I deeply hated him. For the next 2 months, I felt great, went out a lot, I enjoyed the new single life. Then 2 months after he left, he gave me a phone call out of nowhere and again apologized, insisted that he was doing therapy and that he missed me and the kid as much as the son. He was willing to do anything to have us back. I knew it was true. He is a very dedicated person, and I believe when he says he was killing himself to be better for us. But I still hated him. Told him no and asked him please to start dating and meeting new women so that he forgets about me, and he ended the call saying he loves me and he loves my kid. So in total, 4 months have passed since he left the house. I'm also doing therapy, and my therapist believes people don't change. He always told me to end relationships and let him go. Wow. People do change. You need to find a better therapist. But I am missing him every day more and more, and sometimes I regret having gone that far. Maybe he could have worked out with some help. A part of me wants to believe his therapy has worked and he won't do that behavior anymore, but I am afraid. On top of that, I am embarrassed about what his family is going to think about me if we get back together. And I am also being a bit afraid of the possibility of him meeting someone and moving on. I hope to God he does. He was a very good man, and I believe he is, and I am missing him a lot some days. I know he won't text me anymore because when he called after 2 months, he mentioned he won't bother me anymore. So it is 100% in my hands to reach out to him or not. I would like to know if anybody has gone from something similar and if it's a good idea to give him a chance. I believe in him and his efforts, but I still have doubts. Thanks in advance. You broke this fucking man, and now you're regretting it, and you want to call him back just to see if maybe it would work out so that you can fucking break him all over again. This is why I say don't chase, guys. If somebody ever tells you like, hey, I don't think I want to be with you anymore, that's all the fucking information you need. They don't even have to be definitive. I don't think this is what I want. Cool. I was 100% certain that I was going to spend the rest of my life with you, and I've never faltered on that. The fact that you are not sure tells me everything that I need to know, and I'm going to go find somebody that's willing to dedicate themselves to me the way that I'm willing to dedicate myself to them. This is fucking horrendous. Unreal. She deserves to be alone. I hope that she's at 41 years old is unable to find another man because she doesn't deserve to have one. You fucking didn't want to have hard conversations while your man was depressed over the loss of a child, and you fucking ended your marriage over it. Someone in the chat said people change as long as they want to. That is absolutely correct. If you want to change, you will. Otherwise, you won't. And that's the reality of it. And in a lot of cases, people have to go through hard shit to realize that the life they're living doesn't serve them anymore. And that if they want to have a better life, they have to make different choices. And that's where change comes in. Someone in the chat said she wants to see if he moved on. She doesn't want him back. She wants to keep him under her foot. That pisses me off. It should. And I agree. I actually agree with that. Okay, this next, oh man. Excuse me. This next one is called She Regrets It. We divorced a year ago and it destroyed me. After 12 years, 2 kids together, she cheated with a coworker and left me for him. Everyone told me that she would regret what she was doing, but she was so cold and sure that I was the one who ended up filing. I swear I can read, guys. After the divorce, she bought a small house and the guy lives with her. My kids live with this man and for half their lives. I really try not to think about it too much, but it sucks. I have a girlfriend I met soon after the divorce, and we've fallen in love, so I stopped thinking about my ex very much. Then a few days ago, I got a call from her, which is strange because we barely talk. She was asking if I was happy, saying that she has no family or support network here. She's unhappy. She missed us being a family. She asked if she would ever have a chance with me again. I would have given anything to hear those words last winter. I wanted so badly to save my family, but I moved on, and I'm never going back. I told her no. I told her that I would always be there to help with the kids. It hurts to know she's suffering, to know that she's completely messed up her life for this asshole, but I'm done. The hardest thing to let go of is wanting to take care of her, and even now, I just want her to be okay. Fuck that. She doesn't want you back. She's missing the comfort and the stability that you brought in her life. She wanted some strange dick. She went and got it and then decided that the sex was better. That new feeling and that lust phase was better than the commitment that she gave you on your wedding day. Yeah. Good for you for telling her no. Some of the comments from that thread said, wow, had to be tough to hear. There had to be a small part that was satisfying to hear. She admitted that she screwed up, yet the pain that you went through and now you've moved on makes you think if she wouldn't have screwed up, you'd see your kids every day. My situation is similar. She cheated with a coworker. I divorced her. We split time with the kids. The guy is still in the picture. I'm still healing. Haven't found anyone. I'm not ready for that. I've been asked if I'd take her back if she admitted how bad she had screwed up, and the answer is no. There were too many things that were said and done for me to forgive, and there's no way for me to ever trust her again. The OP said, you would think that I'd feel some satisfaction, but all I felt was sadness and pity for where she's at. She's pretty much trapped with this guy as he's her support network now. She probably can't cover the mortgage and bills without his help. She sees that I'm doing so much better post-divorce. I got really fit. I have a beautiful girlfriend and moved into the city. She knows she threw away a good thing for a shitty thing. I always knew that she would see it, but it doesn't feel good to know it now. That's fucking factual. I would imagine that vindication, the validation that you were looking for didn't come in that knowing that somebody that you once loved deeply and cared about deeply is suffering. This next reply says, the fact that it doesn't feel good speaks volume about your character. Your children will see this and she will too. You may never get back together, but your children, and maybe she, will be stronger for the fact that your heart is in the right place. Take pride in that. Yeah, that's a good answer. I like that reply. How you guys feeling about these chat? Should we keep going? This next one's called I Regret Divorcing My Wife. We married too young, just a year after high school. We went to college and then started working. I met another woman. She was married. She knew I was married, but asked me if I ever regretted marrying so young. I hesitated. I'm not going to blame her because the one who was married was me. I started an affair with her, and I was the one who eventually told my wife I didn't love her anymore and we should get a divorce. She said, okay, left the room, but at night I heard her crying. I wanted to console her, but how? At the time, I was happy. I was finally going to be free, finally choosing myself and doing things that I wanted to do. The divorce was finalized fairly quickly because we didn't have any kids nor much assets. I immediately moved away to a bigger city for months, living the single life I always wanted, coming home so drunk I couldn't even get to the bedroom, just falling asleep in the hallway. After 4 months, I realized I made a huge mistake. My life was basically empty and I didn't have any friends or family here. I didn't want to admit that I really missed my wife, but I didn't have the balls to contact her after living miserably for about 6 months. My ex-affair partner moved to the same city. We both still worked for the same company. She said she only came for me. I felt touched because I was lonely and depressed. We started dating and she moved in with me. Do you guys know that like 90% of affairs start in the workplace? It's crazy, isn't it? It's because you spend more time at work than you do at home. You spend more time at work than you do with your kids. When you remove the time that you sleep at your house, work is more than half of your existence when you think about it. Yep. I don't even love her, but I thought I had to prove something for ruining my marriage. I wanted to move back to my hometown after 2 years because my parents are elderly and I wanted to take care of them, but she didn't want to because she is still insecure about my ex. Eventually, she pestered me enough, so I gave her a ring. My ex is taking care of my parents. She texts updates on them, and we are civil with each other. My new fiance tried to start shit with my ex for visiting my parents and whatnot. She also tried to prohibit me from going to my parents this Christmas. I couldn't handle it anymore, and I broke up with her. Good. She tried to act shook, saying I literally left my wife for her, but the only reason why I left my wife is because I'm stupid. Well, at least you realize that. I hope that your wife is doing okay, right? Like you kind of broke her. She said that you would hear her crying at nighttime, and she's the one taking care of your parents. What does that say about her commitment to your family? I had some sort of mental breakdown after breaking up with her. I quit my job, I broke my lease, and I flew back to my hometown. I'm staying with my parents now. My ex-wife still visits. She was surprised when she saw me and we hugged. We talked for like 15 minutes and I went back to my room and almost cried. She hasn't dated anyone since we divorced, and in my mind, that means she still feels something for me. I don't think I think that could be a stretch. I think that maybe you broke her and she realizes that it's not worth it to go through that again. Or maybe she's not finding a quality person and she's not willing to settle. I selfishly want to beg her to take me back, but I don't because she deserves so much better. So that's your regret speaking. And if you really believe that she deserves so much better, why aren't you doing the work that you need to do to become a better person and then try to reclaim that time? Hey, it's been however long it's been. I've been going to therapy and reading self-help books. I've been listening to the To Be Better podcast. Chris and Peaches gives great advice. I'm realizing all of my shortcomings and my mistakes, and you know, I have true remorse for what happened, and I know what I lost in our marriage, and I would love to have you back. Can we start courting? Can we get to know each other again and see if we even still like each other, like something, instead of just going, you know, she deserves better. That's your excuse. That's you quietly quitting before even trying. You're not even willing to improve who you are as a man. You're just quitting. For now, I'm just content with seeing her around when she comes to see my parents and have some small talk. My parents invited her parents to spend Christmas together, and they agreed. So I'm actually excited about that because it's been so long since we spent a holiday all together. I'm not looking for advice or sympathy. I guess I just wanted to give you all the perspective of living your life because you think you can have it better. It doesn't mean it works like that. Comments. Number 1, the grass is always greener on the other side. In fact, it's usually dead and shriveled. Response. I saw this ripple through friends with the groups. And even with my own partner at one point, I felt a wave of complacency. But I really sat myself down and talked to myself, and I asked myself, how much do I say I love you to my left arm? How much do I appreciate my left arm daily? How much do I think about the ability of having an arm? But if it was gone, oh my gosh, how much would I then? I realized with my partner, it was more complacency than the support that was there. I shouldn't take it for granted. I think I looked at the situation and told my partner we need a little bit more celebration. More happy, more fun. We did. It doesn't need to be magnificent. A 6-pack of sodas and some decent steaks on a Friday night. Cheap dates. Yep. The grass is always greener over your septic tank, guys. Not where you water it. It's greenest over your septic tank. And I use that analogy because your life is going to be shit sometimes and you have to get through it. And that's just all there is to that shit. This next one's called Any Tips on Communicating When I, 30 Female, Feel Like My Fiance, 50 Male, is Being Selfish. I, 30 Female, have been engaged to my fiance, 50 Male, for 1 month. I wonder how long you guys have been together. We plan to elope next month without friends or family and have a big wedding later down the line. Today, specifically, I am questioning how ready we are for this covenant of marriage we are getting ready to embark on. I spend my weekends at his place and have been spending much more time getting ready to transition into married life with him. I was off Monday because of the storm, but he does snow removal, so he was out for about 36 hours. Let me add that this is something he does kind of by choice. He is basically retired and subs his business, but loves snow removal so much that he can't let it go. Well, all Sunday evening / night, and for the whole entire Monday, he was out. This was not the plan for the weekend, but due to a plethora of problems, his 8-hour shifts turned into 36 hours. When he got home at 4 a.m., I was up waiting to greet him and love on him for the little time I have before needing to go to work. But him being so tired and beat up, he doesn't even take a second to hug me, tells me he missed me or anything of that sort. I feel very hurt and disappointed. When was the last time that you stayed awake for 36 hours? Especially as you get older. I'm very curious. Guys in the chat, when was the last time you were awake for more than 24 hours? And if you made it to 36 hours, how did you feel at that point? He cuts me short, tells me to go lay down. He's going to take a 5-minute shower, give me a quick kiss. I shrug this off because I know he's drained, but when he gets in bed, he doesn't even want me near because he's so beat up and tired. I expressed to him that I'm sad because he put 36 hours into work and couldn't even put 1 minute into watering our relationship quickly. He dismisses this and proceeds to go to sleep. Oh boy, was fucking exhausted. I am so frustrated by this because this is the second time in a week I feel like my attempts for affection and love are being dismissed because of something he's more focused on regarding himself. Are you fucking kidding me? First it was cooking, now it's sleeping after extreme working. I can understand like cooking. The first one with no information, I can understand how you would be hurt by. This last one, like a quick kiss as you walk past each other, a 5-minute shower, and then bed. I don't understand how this is a fucking problem. I know this may sound a little foolish, but I'm confused on how to communicate this and be heard. Help. How about you be understanding, right? That's what you need. You need understanding. You need a little bit more maturity. I think he should have found somebody a little bit older than you or a little bit more gracious than you. Yep. I don't like that shit. I think you're the one that's being selfish. And I am back, ladies and gentlemen. You got me. You got me by myself, which means we're going to hurt feelings today. Because apparently that's what I do. Apparently that's what I do. I recorded yesterday or the day before, and I had to get off of here because the electrician got here and I had to run. And I kind of ended the stream abruptly, and I kept the couple of Reddit stories that I read on my computer so that we can create an episode from that. But we're going to just jump back into the story that I was reading. We're going to start from the beginning so that I can just cut it and go. So sorry that the other one ended abruptly. We're going to continue running this shit. For those of you who are not a member of our Patreon, you are missing out on a whole lot of stupidity and debauchery and fun because, damn it, we're fun. The tribe is fun. All right, so this Reddit, so these are Reddit stories, guys, that one of the members of our Discord put together for me so that I don't have to search Reddit. I can just pull these up and read them. This one is, says, boyfriend 25 male pressuring me 23 female to work out, and it's upsetting me. How can I go about this? For context, I am plus size, PCOS, and have been since before we got together. I have always been active up until 3 months ago. I have been with my boyfriend for just over 2 years. We live together. We both work, and I do all of the household chores. Before we moved into our house, we used to go to the gym together 5 times a week, which really helped my initial weight loss. I bet it did. 5 times a week is a great workout schedule. 2 days of rest. I personally prefer Wednesdays and Sundays, and then I do big body parts the day after that rest day so that I'm nice and my central nervous system is relaxed and rested, and then I destroy it again and then proceeded to beat my body up until it's time to rest again. Rest is important. You should rest. 5 days a week on, 2 days a week off. Sounds like a good time. And for those of you who really want to lose some weight, some weighted cardio in the woods on your rest day is a great way to rest. Just saying. I also want to point out that you were not living together, going to the gym with your man 5 times a week, and then you guys moved in together and you stopped going. So this is a form of catfishing if your man is into fitness, right? Before we moved into our house, read that. Now, between my job, doing housework every day, cooking dinner, and preparing his lunch, I'm honestly struggling to build a routine that allows me to work out while also spending time with him. If you were living on your own and you still had to work, you still had household chores, you still had to feed yourself, and the only thing that you added was preparing his lunch, what's the issue? Right? Because making lunch is super fucking quick, especially if you meal prep on one of those down days that you have. Like on Sunday, you go out to the grill, you throw a whole bunch of chicken and meat and fish and vegetables and sweet potatoes and shit. Cook it all up, put it in a big ass bowl, and then microwave 30 seconds. There's your meal. Super quick. I don't understand what the problem is. Sounds like excuses. Is it excuses? We'll see. I am honestly struggling to build a routine that allows me to work out while also spending time with him. Well, if he's going to the gym, spending time with him could be at the gym. He is always pressuring me. He has always pressured me, and I suppose preached to me the importance of exercise to the point where I did work out with him for 3 months. It didn't last long due to us having to go on his schedule and stay there for 3 hours when I had other things that he wanted me to do. Nobody needs to be in the gym for 3 hours. Unless you're like a professional level bodybuilder and you were on an insane amount of drugs, you don't need to be in the gym for 3 hours. That's just not a thing. Your body, what you're doing, what I'm reading there is that dude's working his jaw more than he's working his body. Hour and a half tops. I gotta be honest, I can be in and out by myself in 30 minutes because I'm not in there fucking talking to people. I really don't want to talk to people. I won't even take my headphones out sometimes when people try to talk to me. I just look at them, waiting for them to stop moving their mouth and be like, I can't fucking hear you. And then I go back to working out. Don't want to talk to you. He eventually told me he would rather me exercise somewhere else, as me not enjoying it was ruining his lifts. I started to swim laps at the pool after that. I had a miscarriage last November and since put on around 10 to 12 kilograms, which is about 25 pounds. During that short time I was pregnant, I was extremely lethargic, nauseous, and constantly hungry. He was pressuring me every day to work out and keep up with housework, but I genuinely could not manage it. Since then, the pressure has become more frequent, and I know it's because I have gained weight. I returned to the pool and began to get a bit of a routine until I got a sinus infection and we both got sick. Are you like 90? The fuck are you doing in a swimming pool? Are you working for the Olympics? The old lady calisthenics in the pool with like your little fucking swim cat and the little floaty weights to exercise is not going to do shit for your weight loss. That is a low impact, low intensity, mild workout at best. You would get more work by putting a weighted vest on and simply going for a 2-mile walk. There is definitely a time and a place for a pool. When I get into a pool and can work my lower back without the weight of my body on it, it actually helps me quite a bit. But I have 2 bulging discs, a fucked up SI joint, and a whole lot of other shit in my spine. So time and place. It's getting to the point where these unsolicited speeches are making me sick with anxiety and really, really self-conscious. Tell them to stop. Be like, hey, I understand I've gained weight. You pressure me to go to the gym is making me not want to do it. I don't want to be told what to do. I am a defiant, rebellious motherfucker. And you telling me to go to the gym is making me want to punch you in the throat. So stop. You can be funny about it. You don't have to add the throat punch, but you know, you can try to make it a ha-ha thing, or you could sit down and be honest with him and be like, look, I know I've gained weight, but you pushing me to go to the gym, the way that you're pushing me to go to the gym is making me feel like a fat piece of shit. And it's making me not want to be intimate. It's making me not want to be around you. It's making me start to resent our relationship. This is a really easy conversation to have. I have started to blurt out, okay, I'll go again Tuesday. And when I don't have the confidence or energy to, he begins to be disappointed and almost passive aggressive. I need advice on how to handle this. I already gave it to you. I have tried gently communicating that I don't want to be pressured and that I need space to figure out a routine on my own. And he responds by lecturing me about routines. Because you are not being honest, you are beating around the bush. Direct communication goes a long fucking way with guys. So instead of trying to gently communicate that you don't want to be pressured and you need to figure out your own routine, tell him that what he's doing is creating a disconnect in the relationship and that it's making you feel fat. It's making you feel not attractive. It's making you feel like there is a disconnect. And what he needs to do is stop. Because if I heard what I need as a routine, being that I have 2 personal training certifications, I got you. Give me 5 minutes and I'll write up a training split. 5 days, Monday, Tuesday rest, Thursday, Friday, Saturday rest. We got this. No fucking problem. I can even write your meal plan. Give me another 30 minutes, right? Like, that's what I hear. That's the difference between having an honest conversation and beating around the bush. I've also tried explaining that I feel overwhelmed by daily tasks and that it is difficult to fit everything in, especially when I also need to go to bed early with him so I don't wake him up. That's all excuses. That last paragraph is pure excuses. Comments below. 1, why do all the chores? That seems like a much bigger problem. OP, I do all the chores because he works more hours. He expects things to be 50-50, so I have to make that time up in chores, which means he can do nothing. This is why 50-50 doesn't work. I've tried to communicate to him that it's unfair in itself, but the pattern starts up again later. That's literally not 50-50 is the reply. It sounds like he has plenty of time to do chores if he spends 3 hours in the gym. Did he even take care of you at all when you miscarried? Why are these people are just asking a whole bunch of unnecessary questions to stir the pot? You fucking nosy, busybody motherfuckers. Did you think about how all this stress could have contributed to the miscarriage, which is awful? You guys realize that like people worked through pregnancy. Like that was a normal thing for a very long time. I mean, it's still a pretty normal thing. And doing simple house chores, I mean, maybe could make somebody miscarriage, but I'm not going to comment on that. I think that's a stretch. We'll just leave it at that. Which is awful, and I'm sorry about that, by the way. OP reply, I know it's not an issue I have when I try to communicate. It turns into this debate I can never win. I would 100% leave if I could afford a house to share or something like that. So she's living 1 foot out of the relationship, doesn't want to be there, and she's asking for information on how to tell her boyfriend to stop making her go to the gym. I'm going to the next thing because I'm trying really hard not to be mean. Oh God, the comments are so long on this. Guys, I want to be so mean. It's so easy to be an asshole. The next one, I'm 23 female and have conflicted feelings after finding out my abusive ex, 25 male, got married. How do I move forward? Why are you having conflicted feelings? Oh God, what is this? Let's see what this is about. I, 23 female, was in a relationship with my ex, 25 male, for about 5 years. Okay, so you guys got together when you were teenagers. Well, you were a teenager. He was not. Pretty close to statutory limitations there. The relationship was extremely toxic and abusive. And looking back, I believe it was more of a trauma bond than a healthy partnership. I am straight, and throughout our relationship, he always claimed that he was straight as well. However, I later found out that he was secretly sleeping with random men. This was something I never told anyone about, and I carried it alone. Along with this, he also cheated on me multiple times with women. The constant lying, secrecy, and infidelity caused a lot of emotional confusion and damage in my self-esteem. Our breakup 7 months ago was very messy and emotionally exhausting, but I never spoke to anyone about what really happened, and kept everything to myself. Okay, so good for you, but why is this bothering you? If this person was all of these things and did all of this foul shit, why are you still emotionally invested in what he's doing? Why haven't you done the work on yourself, fixed your fucking life, and moved on and been happy? All of this dwelling on other people's shit and like stalking Facebook pages and being engaged and, you know, secretly checking their TikTok 6 times a day and being upset because they've moved on and you're still sitting here single sounds like some crazy vindictive stalker shit. Why haven't you just simply moved on with your fucking life yet? Even after the breakup, he tried several times to get back together, but I stayed firm and did not return. There are still court dates ongoing related to the breakup, so I haven't had full closure and still feel tied to the situation in many ways I don't want to be. Recently, I found out, why are you tied? So if this is not civil court and there are criminal charges here, you only have to be involved when you are required to go to court. And you should have a lawyer. And if the state is picking up the charges, you really only have to talk to the lawyers and not the ex. Recently, I found out that he went back to his home country and entered into an arranged marriage. I didn't expect this news to affect me so deeply, but it has brought up a sadness, confusion, and self-doubt. Part of me feels replaced, and another part wonders if I made the wrong decision, even though I know how abusive and unhealthy the relationship truly was. Sounds like you need a whole lot of fucking therapy and not on Reddit. I don't understand why I feel this way when I was the one who chose to leave for my safety and well-being. The specific advice I'm asking for: how can I process these emotions while still dealing with unresolved legal matters? How do I stop romanticizing a relationship that was built on abuse, lies, and secrecy and move forward in a healthy way? So this is a bullshit story, because if he is in the middle of an ongoing criminal case and he left the country to get married, unless he had some sort of specific agreement with the court where he was allowed to leave, he is in violation of a whole lot of fucking laws. And when he comes back, he's going to jail. So I don't believe the whole court thing. I believe that you've just added this in here to make it sound like there's a reason for you to be attached still, even though you're still emotionally invested in what this dude is doing. I couldn't imagine having somebody physically abuse me to the point where there's an ongoing case, only to continue to stalk what they're doing and worry about who they're dating and what they're doing moving forward. Do you guys chat? Do you guys think that people create these stories for attention? When they left, they forgot what it felt like to be in that relationship. They need to sever themselves from their ex. I agree. All right, this next one, because that one I think is bullshit. My 25-year-old girlfriend just cried over her ex, and I, 25 male, don't know how to feel about it. So me and my girlfriend of 6.5 months. Okay, so you guys are new. You're still in the courting phase. To call her your girlfriend at this point is, we're having a rough day and she was self-sabotaging. Okay, so you're excusing shitty behavior. Got it. When we got together, she said that she realized why she was being that way, and that it was because while she was dating her ex, they were together pretty much every single day, basically living together. And she found out that he really hated her after going through his phone. They were together almost every day for 8 months. Oh my God. After that, she mistakenly put that on me, and that she vowed to be better and in the future, because she's never loved someone like she has me before. You guys are 6 months in. And they called it puppy love. They called it delusional. Delusional. And that I treat her how no one else ever did. You guys are still wearing pink glasses, rose-colored glasses, which makes all of the red flags in your relationship look white. And knowing that you were only 6.5 months into your relationship and you were acting the way that you're acting, run. You guys remember that sound on TikTok from like 3 years ago? Run. That's what needs to happen right now. You guys need to wait for like another 4 or 5 years until you're mature enough to actually have a relationship that takes a little bit of time to build and foundations are had and to understand what courting is. You need to slow the fuck down. To give some context, we've been inseparable since we started dating around 3 months after she broke up with her ex. And when we got matching tattoos in 3 months. However, when she started to talk about what she found out on his phone, she started crying. While I am no psychologist, that just doesn't sit right with me, because we've been together for almost 7 months, yet thinking about what her ex did to her brought tears to her eyes. She says she loves me more than anybody she's been with, and she does treat me very well, and she says that her breakup was just very traumatic. Dude, you're fucking retarded. People go through horrible things and cry over it because you're a man. I'm sure that you've never been allowed to just vent your emotions, and you've been told to suck it the fuck up and pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and men don't cry, and that's some sissy shit. Cut it the fuck out. Women aren't like that. They have an emotional process that they have to go through that is very fucking healthy and something that we should be doing. She went through a really bad breakup, and if she loved this dude and there was abuse and all of that shit and she was hurt by what happened, she's going to cry over it. That doesn't mean that she still loves this dude. It means that she's fucking hurt and she doesn't know how to process her emotions. I hope to God you didn't belittle her or make a big deal out of this, but because you're a 25-year-old immature boy, I'm sure you did. But every now and then she'll have days like this. However, she never cried before. When I ask if she's over her ex, she says she will never get back with him. That's not over him. That's not what you asked. Yet she calls him out his name whenever she talks about him. Can we just stop talking like that? She says she'd run him over with a bus, and she just cried today. I don't know how to feel about this. Am I thinking too hard? Comments. 1, she was getting upset because she was recalling how he treated her. She has told you how much she appreciates you, that you treat her completely different and decently. She's giving you some context about her current relationship compared to previous ones. Whatever you do, try not to fuck up. It's too late for that. He's already a fuck up. It's a little comment 2. It's a little complicated, I think, but dude, he really fucking hurt her, like actually. basically being inseparable and finding out that person actually hates you sucks ass, especially when you have no idea. The pain of that specific feeling doesn't go away. That stays with you, man, for a long fucking time. Like, even when I talk about stuff that let me say, okay, the absolute love of my life, I feel, I get emotional and I cry, sometimes really hard because it's painful going through that, especially when you haven't fully healed from what hurts. You should explain a little more about she calls him out his name whenever she talks about him, because I'm not sure what exactly you mean by that. I think an example would help with that. Obviously, not say anything sensitive about anyone. And a side thing, girl, y'all are moving really fast. 6.5 months, man. And you got matching tattoos all within 3 months after breakup. Yeah, she's going to be crying about that still. 7 months is not long at all, especially in the long run. That's still like learning new things about each other, still learning how your partner is on certain levels, their habits, everything. I will say she needs to heal. She didn't give her time. I agree with that. She did not give herself time. And that she might be playing into the self-sabotaging, because once she does talk about him and prob's gonna be like, okay, I'm done with this. Next comment said, sounds like she didn't fully process her breakup before getting into a new relationship. This doesn't necessarily mean that she has feelings for the ex. Sometimes the romantic feelings can leave, but the intensity of the pain can still hurt from the relationship, can linger for a while. I agree. If she tried to express her feelings when they broke up, then they can make the healing process even worse. It's not ideal to get into a relationship until those feelings leave, but many people do it anyways. Hallelujah. Preach, brother. Relationships are a huge part of life. I do not care about my exes in the slightest, but occasionally will remember something and feel a bit shit. Why do people not proofread before posting it to the internet? Going on. Can we get a coherent sentence, please? Yeah, right? Fucking please. I wasn't a good wife to him. My husband, 40 of 12 years, told me he doesn't want to be with me anymore, and I wasn't a good wife to him. I know I am being manipulated and have been severely emotionally abused in this relationship. I've been with him my full adult life, and I don't know life without him. I've been cheated on most of the relationship during both of my pregnancies, during my cancer treatments, during the grief of my mother's passing, sometimes with sex workers in Colombia. I feel so ashamed that I allowed this to happen to me, so ashamed that I don't love myself anymore, ashamed now he is the one to say he doesn't want me, and embarrassed that I don't want to work it out. And embarrassed that I want to work it out. I know this relationship is a reflection of how I feel about myself. I'm just mad that I wasn't stronger and that I am still crying over this like it was a good relationship. It took my best friend to put it into words for me that I have been emotionally abused. Is your best friend a psychologist, psychiatrist? Are they a talk therapist? Do they work professionally in a field, or are they in any type of thing to be diagnosing you as emotionally abused? Or did they say it sounds like emotional abuse and you ran with it? Just curious. Inquiring minds would like to know. He would cheat one way or another. I would get upset and we would try again, but I couldn't touch him, let alone build intimacy with somebody that told me I deserved to be cheated on. Yeah, it's fucked up. He told me what he needed and I never tried. We never had intimacy and he is blaming me. If he never cheated, I wouldn't have been emotionally absent. Then why did you stay? Right? Like, if you were already emotionally absent, then what was the point of staying in the relationship? We could have figured it out. Honestly, I was just so hurt. Now, I know this is over. It has to be. I can't let my kids see me cry anymore, see me struggle when their dad is upstairs playing video games. I've been on my own this whole time, so why am I having a hard time letting go? You haven't been on your own. You've been in a relationship and dude has been unfaithful. And just because he's been unfaithful doesn't mean that you've been doing this alone. You've got kids. It sounds to me like he's helping finance your life. Sounds to me like there's been a whole lot of really shitty things that's happened to you and you've stuck around for whatever reason. The both of you have decided to try to make this work. Maybe he can justify this to himself as to why he did what he did, but you haven't been by yourself. That's a false statement. And you know what's sad? I desperately want to be loved, to know what a healthy relationship feels like, to feel safe and prioritized emotionally and physically. And now I have a lot of work to do before I can even think about that. I mean, you should have been doing that work the entire time, right? Do you think that you're going to feel like shit about yourself and you're just going to go through life and that somebody's going to come along and fix you? That's not how it works. You want to feel safe and prioritized emotionally and physically, and you want to know what a real relationship feels like. Until you learn to love yourself, no one else is going to be able to love you. You're going to self-sabotage. You're going to people please. You're going to put yourself in situations that end up getting you fucking hurt because you don't care enough about yourself to have boundaries. A whole lot of that shit. Like, if you guys don't respect yourself, what makes you think that somebody else is going to respect you, right? Why would they? I for sure can't get what I want until I love myself first. I may never get married again. Fair. Totally what I just said. My heart is really broken by this relationship, but I know I can't let my little girl see this. Why not? Why won't you let your little girl see this? See me this week. Why wouldn't you let your little girl see this? If she is old enough to have a conversation to understand what's going on, this is a great opportunity for her to learn why you don't put yourself in situations where you can be broken by another individual. You guys think that you're doing a whole lot of righteousness by keeping your kids sheltered and not letting them see adult things. When they are old enough to understand the situation, they need to be given exposure to it so that they can have conversations and learn from your mistakes while they see what you're going through. I am starting group divorce care today, and going back to therapy. What is group divorce care? That's a new phrase. I'm so lonely. I miss my mom. I'm on a PIP at work because of all the stress, but I'm finally fighting for myself, for my babies. Comment below. Listen to me, mama. You're not weak. You loved and trusted an unsafe man, but that's not what you signed up for. Nope. It might not have been what you signed up for, but it's what you stayed and tolerated. Through all of that shit, you tolerated it. You continued to go back, and you've even said that you want to still be there. You fell in love with someone who only showed you the good side. Did we read a different post? You fell in love with someone who only showed you the good side? Dude had multiple infidelities, emotionally abused her, treated her like shit. Where did he only show the good side? This is the problem with the internet. This is the girl power. Get your bag. You deserve better. Blah, 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 blah. You're reading into some shit that wasn't fucking there through your own bias. You never would have married and had children with someone who abused you from the start. Is that true? Do you know that he didn't abuse her from the start? Because she said that he cheated on her the entire time they were together. You were deceived and preyed upon. I would believe that because you had no self-worth. It makes it very easy for somebody to take advantage of you. The abuse started after you were already on the hook. You didn't consent to the abuse. Actually, you did when you continued to go back and stay. It happened to you, and that's not your fault. Of course you stayed. You still remember the man you fell in love with. You still cling to the future you had planned. You still have hope that he can be everything he promised to be. He let you down, not the other way around. Fucking delusional ass people. It doesn't matter that you stay longer than you should have. What matters is that you're getting out now. Yeah, I mean, it's good that you're getting out now. Then would have been the great time. Now is the best time beyond that. And all of that pain you've been going through for years, this is when it stops. Actually, it doesn't stop here. It continues because now there's going to be legal litigation. There's going to be child support custodies. There's going to have to be proof that he actually abused her so that the children are not put in an unsafe home. There's going to be a whole lot of pain that's going to continue through this. So, commenter, I know you're trying to give her a pep talk, but you're also an idiot. As soon as you don't have him in your ear telling you what a piece of garbage you are, the pain starts to fade. That's not true. Every time you look at your kids and they go, how come daddy's not here? That pain is right back. I found out 2 weeks after my mom died that my STBX, soon to be ex, was cheating. I needed my mom more than ever. Let me be your mom for a minute. Listen to me closely. This is not your fault. You are not weak. You are the most powerful person alive, and you're going to protect your babies by taking yourself out of this situation. I'm here for the pep talk. I think a lot of it's bullshit though. Your local DV shelter will have a free counselor who can talk to you. They've seen everything. They know what to say and how to help you. You don't have to live in a shelter to use their resources. Good information. And they're not going to report you to CPS. There are lots of subs on here that provide kindness, hope, and advice. There's a lot of subs on here that's going to tell you what you want to hear instead of what you need to hear. There's going to be a whole lot of people here feeding you bullshit that's going to tell you that everything is just going to be okay instead of actually being there for you while you're struggling, because the next couple months of your life is going to be really fucking hard. And that's the reality of it. You're going to have to take ownership. You're going to have to learn to love yourself. You're going to have to protect them babies. You're going to have to fucking do a whole lot of things that's going to be really fucking hard to do. And you're going to have to do a whole lot of research to do it, because getting on Reddit and reading information and having other people's opinions isn't going to find you lawyers. It's not going to find you shelters. It's not going to fucking help you navigate the waters of you leaving an abusive relationship that could potentially get you killed. You need to get on Google and actually do real research. Someone in the chat said, this is the point when I think victim blaming should be applied. Going back again and again when you're that down and out, that's weak-willed person. I agree. I understand. I understand having hope, right? And living in hopium. But when you continue to live that same life over and over again, you have to understand that like it's going to continue to repeat itself. When you go back the first time and you set boundaries, hey, you can't do this anymore, you can never do this again, or I'm leaving, and then they do it, and you leave and come back, you have given them a pass to continue to treat you like that because you're saying that you don't have enough will to prevent boundaries from getting crossed. And it could be simple as, you know, maybe they put their hands on you, and what led to them putting their hands on you is that they started yelling. So you tell them like, hey, when we get back together, if we're going to do this again, I'm not going to tolerate you yelling at me. I'm not going to tolerate you putting your hands on me, talking over top of me, getting drunk, or whatever the things were that led up to that thing. And when it starts to happen, you diffuse the situation and then get the fuck out. Why continue to put you or your children in a situation that is harmful? And every single time I have this conversation, there are always people who are like, it takes somebody 7 times. You don't know what it's like. You shouldn't talk about this. You're victim blaming. This is fucking mean. You're an idiot. You're misogynistic. No, I'm not. I've watched people get beat my entire fucking life. And as a child, I thought I was going to have to kill somebody to keep my mother safe. I've watched that hopium. I've watched people fall back on, I need what they provide, right? There's enough resources out there that you don't need what they provide. You want that comfort of the life that has been given to you and the hope that things are going to change. People don't fucking change if they don't have to. Somebody in the chat said the CPS comment is a dangerous one because it is not correct. I am a director at a DV shelter and we are mandated reporters. I love that. I love that. Why wouldn't you want to get CPS involved? That shows if you have honestly have an abusive boyfriend or a husband, whatever, partner, and there are kids involved, getting CPS involved while you're being abused is a really smart thing to do because now everything is documented for the court system. So when you go to court and you are filing for custody and you are trying to figure out custody arrangements, you can say, Your Honor, they nearly killed me. Here's the police report. Here's all the CPS documentation. My kids aren't safe with him or them or her or whatever the fuck they call themselves. I just don't get it. Don't get it. These episodes of me without my gorgeous wife is going to either make us lose a whole lot of followers or gain a whole bunch of followers. I don't think that we're going to sit stagnant. I think for the first time in To Be Better history, we might hit a deficit because I can be a fuckface to people, and that's just who I am as a person sometimes. I don't tolerate excuses and stupidity. I expect more from people. You get one opportunity to live your life, and allowing others to dictate your existence is a fucking problem for me. This next one is called opinion/2 cents. Okay, I'll try to make it quick. Just looking for opinions. My wife and I married 11 years, 3 kids, tons of fighting, in between great times. She cheated and I wanted to move past it. She wanted out. We are in the middle of divorce, rarely and talking and a lot of anger. Rarely and talking and a lot of anger. I did/do not want the divorce. Told her I'd go back to our marriage and work it out in a heartbeat. She has no interest. So she doesn't want you and you're trying to beg. This is what I would call simp behavior. There have been signs that she's sexual with other men. It absolutely kills me. However, it's none of my business. It's none of your business because you guys are getting a divorce and you're separated. I told her I love her unconditionally and I will move past it all if she wanted to give our marriage a real shot. She sees the divorce as a speed bump and claims we may find each other in a few years. No, she's telling you that to make it easier on the exit strategy. This is a manipulation tactic. This is no different than saying, we need to get separate living spaces until we can get our shit together, because it's just an easier ending, right? Once you're out of the picture, it's forget you exist. I'm 44, good shape, good job, decent looking, and all that stuff. Not to be arrogant. She says, if I love her, I would let her keep the house 100% and pay child support. So she's trying to manipulate you. The house is paid off with no mortgage. She says she will forego alimony, my pension, stocks, everything. However, added all up, it's less than her portion of the house she would buy me out for. Opinions. However, added all up, it's less than her portion of the house that she would buy me out for. Well, I mean, there's a whole lot of things being talked about right now with alimony. That can only go on for so long now. And depending on how long you guys have been married, alimony is a certain amount of time. Depending on your state, that could be different. But anyways, next, she forced me to move out, and I now live with my mother now that the divorce is in the process. She can't force you to move out. There's no way for her to force you to move out. If your name is on that deed, she can't do that. You chose to move out. She doesn't want you there. You were doing the right thing by letting her stay, whatever you want to call that. You can call it whatever you want, but be honest about it. She didn't force you. You could have moved into another bedroom, slept on the couch. Like, you could have made life real fucking uncomfortable because you have every right to be there just like she does. If I were you, I'd put the house up for sale and split the fucking assets. My mother, read that. I give her $800 in cash, Venmo, pay the electricity, $300, her car insurance, $140, and the house internet, $114, plus the kids' health insurance, $591. She's claiming I don't contribute enough. Not sure if that was supposed to be do not. She's claiming I don't contribute enough. Yeah. Lastly, whenever something breaks down or needs repair, she claims I need to give her money. Her car needed new tires. No, bro, you're getting a divorce. You don't have to give her shit. You need to go to get your lawyer, and you go to your lawyer, and the only thing that you need to give her, once that's been agreed, is alimony and whatever child support that's agreed on. If she calls and says that her car broke down, you fucking tell her to fucking beat feet. That's a you problem, bitch. You decided you didn't want to be in this marriage anymore. I got nothing for you. Go get one of those other fucking slimy limp dick motherfuckers that you've been sleeping with to fix your fucking car. Why are you calling me? I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Man, fuck you. Her car needed new tires and she said I should pay half. Also oil changes and things like that. So what's the opinion on this? I wouldn't fucking give her shit. I gotta be real honest, dude. Like, I am about being civil. If I can make my life easy by being nice to people, I'm going to do that every single time because there's peace in that. However, I'm not going to live with somebody telling me what I have to do, and I'm not going to allow somebody to manipulate me and take me for everything. I'm just not. If I was getting divorced and like this is a thing and she's asking for all this money, I would have a fucking lawyer. And every single time she called you, I'd be like, don't contact me, contact my lawyer. And if he tells me that I need to buy your car tires, I'll buy your car tires. Until then, fuck right off. You guys are out of your mind. Absolutely out of your fucking mind with this shit. Okay, moving on to the next one. This one's called Regret. It's the night before my temp orders hearing. I use ChatGPT a lot, so here come the comments already. But I have been following its game plan since STBXW, soon to be with ex-wife, and I were past the point of no return, and we both knew we were done. Financially, I can't survive anymore. So on the advice of AI, I filed first and immediately filed a petition of temp orders to protect my parenting time, joint decision-making, sale of home, and split of everything. She feels overwhelmed by the filing and says she isn't prepared for tomorrow. And why didn't I pick this route instead of Why did I pick this route instead of mediation, which would have saved us money? She says everything I've been doing is methodical and wants to know who is giving information to me. I'm doing this because of all the horrible stories on this site, and I'm scared shitless for my future. I'm about this. File everything that you fucking can, and when you go to court, if it doesn't apply, be like, sorry, Your Honor, I didn't have a lawyer. I Googled. I did what I thought I was doing was right. Fucking run that shit. But I can't help feeling like I'm the asshole here. I think she's going to ask for everything and make this into a battle. Did I start a raging fire? I keep thinking I'm going to get fucked tomorrow. And you might, right? You might get fucked tomorrow, but it's better to be ahead of this and to have a lawyer. I would get a lawyer. Comments below. You are definitely going into this scorched earth, and this is probably an awful path to take. I strongly disagree. I don't know your circumstances, but ChatGPT is a shitty lawyer. That I agree with. This is a crazy emotional way to initiate a split and will potentially make you look unhinged. I don't know. I don't know. Do you have any idea what the law is? Have you looked to see if there are any self-help centers in your local family court? If you live in 50-50 custody jurisdiction, most places in the U.S. are going that way. That doesn't mean they are. That's very horrible wording. That's very manipulative wording. When you guys see things like that, you need to be aware of how things like that are used to manipulate people and to like change narrative. If you live in a 50-50 custody jurisdiction, most places in the US are going that way. This is probably a lot and totally unnecessary. What that should have said is if you live in a 50-50 custody jurisdiction, you'll be okay with getting half custody of your kids. And some states are starting to become 50-50. That's not worded in a way that is honest. That's a lie, like omission almost. It's trickery. I don't know what the word I'm looking for there. It's not right. If she is abusive and causing harm, that is one thing. But if you guys are just breaking up, I would be surprised if a judge granted you anything, particularly if you are representing yourself. I'm not a lawyer, but I represented myself pro se for a few years, and it's not easy. I cannot tell you what to do, but my advice, other than be incredibly courteous and respectful in court, I agree with that. Do not go on an angry rant. Do not lose your cool when the judge asks you all the questions you will not be able to answer. And do not lie or say anything that you can't back up with evidence. Agree with that too. This is a terrible idea. Before you do any other legal filings, get help from an actual person. There are amazing resources available for free or at a reasonable cost. Good luck. Number 2, it's the night before, so the time for strategy is over. What's done is done. You filed for temp orders. You're asking for reasonable things, parenting time, joint decisions, sale of the home, fair split. That's not starting a raging fire. That's protecting yourself. Her saying she's overwhelmed and not prepared the night before, that's posturing. I agree. She had the same amount of time you did. Don't let that guilt trip work on you. I agree with that too. Tomorrow, show up calm, stick to facts. Don't react to whatever she says or whatever she or her lawyer throws at you. The judge has seen this 1,000 times. You're not the asshole for filing first and asking for what's fair. Get some sleep if you can. You got this. 3, well done. File first. Start the process. Mediation is a joke. Mediation, if both people have a lawyer, is expensive, and it's a reason to keep you going back and forth because it's billable hours. As my lawyer told me, if you're actually and truly cordial, mediation could work. But then if it doesn't, you'll end up using lawyers anyways. Good luck to you for doing this and keeping her off balance. Remember, divorce is a business transaction and nothing more. Your wife is no longer your wife. Amen. Amen. The amount of men who get caught up in trying to do the right thing because they still have love for the woman who's deciding that they don't want to be together anymore for whether they want it or the woman does. They're not your wife anymore. And that's the reality of it. The gloves are off at that point. Tomfoolery. That's a good word. This next one is called Ripped Off the Band-Aid. This episode is now over an hour. You guys want me to keep going? Because I did a couple of these Reddit stories before. Oh, there's 63 people in here. I started this episode the other day and had to get off of here. So there's a couple before and then the ones that I've read. But I still have pages of this shit. I'll keep going. I don't have nothing to do. So I finally ripped off the Band-Aid and confronted my wife about her affair and asked for a divorce. After 10 years, married for 5, no kids, both 36. We have been trying for a baby for years and we're starting to explore IVF. As part of IVF, we were required to watch some educational videos. We got about halfway through and I broke down saying, I don't want a kid. And I know you're having an affair. The root of this probably started years ago. I've always had some insecurity issues, but I've worked hard to get over them the best I could. Early in our relationship, she caught me looking through her phone. It didn't turn into a big argument or anything, but she was more annoyed. I worked hard to give her privacy. A few years ago, she lost her phone and got a new one. When she got the new one, she changed the password, but didn't tell me what it was, almost in an awkward way. Like we could be driving and she needed me to enter our destination into Google Maps, but wouldn't tell me the unlock code. She had to unlock it. When I confronted her about it, she mentioned earlier instances of me going through her phone. I chose to take the high road and trust her. Eventually, more red flags started to appear. And I cracked her phone's code. I spent the better part of the year monitoring for signs passively. You call that passively going through her phone? That's not passively. That's fucking, you're a sleuth. I'm gonna call you Dick Tracy. Eventually, in August, I found an Instagram conversation with another man that seemed suggestive. Not a full smoking gun, but something I didn't like. Him asking for nudes, her declining, but tone of conversation was flirty, and she said, "You've already seen too much." The conversation was about 2 years old. When I found it, I continued to monitor for signs. There was now another guy in the picture, a male coworker in a friend group that she had with 2 other women. Initially, I wasn't concerned since it seemed centered around the group and not around their friendship. He is also in a relationship. I did notice, though, that the text threads with him could be deleted every so often. Red flag. Would be deleted. Sorry, would be deleted every so often. Another red flag. Yeah, she's cheating. Real shit, guys. Do any of you ever delete conversations like that? Do you ever go through and clear any of that stuff? Like, I don't do any of that. Like, all of my shit is still there. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I don't see it. It's not like I'm going back and looking through the conversation. It eats up 0 fucking data on my phone. My phone is a terabyte. I have no reason to delete any of that. I do delete old photos and videos because every time I upload to TikTok, I have to download it from Google Drive, upload it to TikTok, and like those files are much bigger than a photo. So I have to go through and delete hundreds of videos a month. So I do keep my photo album cleared out, but that's not the same thing. Nope, never. Nope, no, never delete anything. Yeah, see, there's something fishy going on. I found another smoking gun in October, the day before we were supposed to leave on a trip. It was him asking to come over and see her when she's back. She said, "We have cameras now, so unfortunately, no, can't come by without alerting my name." We had recently installed security cameras for other reasons. Over the next 6 months, I gathered evidence to be 100% certain that something was happening. I eventually found lots of evidence that an affair was happening, and there was emotional infidelity as well as physical. We had also been in our home. He had also been in our home multiple times. She denies that they slept together in our bed, but I don't think I can trust her. Would it matter if they slept together in your bed? This is such a stupid argument. This is such a stupid fucking argument. You guys act like if it happened on the bed, it's worse than it happening on the couch. You want more reason to be enraged at what happened, so you're looking for all of the little things that you can add to allow your anger to be exposed and to validate your hurt. It doesn't matter if they fucked in your bed, the kitchen table, the kitchen counter, the couch, the car, the rug, next to the dog. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is you were betrayed and the infidelity happened and you don't trust your person. All of that other shit is completely irrelevant. You allowing yourself to get worked up and making it sound like it's worse because of these things, shit don't matter. Shit don't matter at all. The fact that he was in your home is pretty fucked up. But again, same thing. Like, doesn't matter if it was in your home or a motel. Fucking's fucking. She says just to watch TV or have lunch. I asked her, since we were trying for a child, how would I have known if it was even mine? She didn't answer that. DNA tests should be fucking given to every man and every child who is born before they sign the fucking birth certificate. I know that the internet hates when I say that shit, because I still get comments about how I don't trust my wife because I would demand a DNA test. It should be fucking mandatory, not just for the sake of knowing who the father is, but to check for birth defects, to find out if there's potential fucking markers for cancer and a whole lot of other things that could go on in that situation. You can tell a lot through DNA. When I asked her about other men or how many times she's cheated, she says, does that even matter, or what difference does it make? And I actually agree with her. Yeah, because it doesn't matter. She cheated. How many times, who it was with, how long it went on for, it doesn't matter. The betrayal is the betrayal. That answer was all I needed to confirm my multiple instances and likely multiple men. Knowing the number doesn't change how hurt I am or how I feel. She's telling me she doesn't want a divorce and she'll do anything to fix our relationship. That's not true. She doesn't want to lose her life. She doesn't want to lose comfort, right? I'm willing to bet you probably make good money together. I'm willing to bet that the two of you working together financially gives her a life that she otherwise wouldn't have. If you had to have cameras installed on your house, right? Like that says a lot. especially because unless you're getting like a cable Comcast kind of thing where you have a security through your cable company, camera systems are expensive. I've got over $10,000 in the security of my house. Like we have 4K cameras everywhere that like they're everywhere. I don't have a single blind spot on my property, which is why it costs so much. But what she doesn't want is to lose the comfort of the life that she's living. She's going to be a whole lot more careful in the future to not get caught fucking other men while still having the life that she has. What you are to her is comfort and provision, not intimacy, love, and sex. So it says a lot. She still wants to have a kid and doesn't want to divorce. I told her that having a kid is the worst idea. I fucking agree. And that I will eventually just be stuck at home with her child while she's out doing who knows what. She works in an industry where dinners and cocktail hours, late nights are common. Yeah, because she's also cheating then too. I'm still pretty certain I want a divorce, but I'm having a hard time staying strong since I unfortunately still care for her and I don't like seeing her or anyone sad. This is allowing karma to take effect. She made decisions. She's going to have to reap the rewards of her fucking stupidity. It sucks to see somebody sad, but don't allow that to dictate your behavior. You know what you need to do in the situation to have peace of mind and a happy life. The divorce needs to happen. Unless you're going to just forgive her. If you honestly think that you can forgive her and that this can be worked through, then do that. But it doesn't sound like you can. Let's see. I told her she needs to do some work on her psychology and decision-making process and what she would propose to earn my trust back. Anyways, I suspect it won't make a difference to me, but I think it's a worthwhile exercise to go through. We both make similar salaries, contribute the same down payment to our home, and have similar savings. I think I would just like to cut ties and move on cleanly. I'm just sad, disappointed, and angry that I have to deal with a problem that I didn't create. Of course you are. That's a very fair thing to feel and go through. You should journal about it. I've been struggling to keep my head clear for the last 6 months. I don't really have a support network here where I live. My close friends and family all live far away. I feel like I'm on an island with this. What do you guys think? Just leave her. Yep. Chat says you should just leave, random Redditor. I agree. You should. If you don't think that you can honestly get over this, maybe you don't love her enough and your comfort of life is enough that you're willing to continue to live the life that you're living and you can both just sleep with other people. That could be a thing, I guess, but even that I don't think would work. Next one is need some advice. Need some advice. So to sum it up, my ex, 36 female, and I, 32 male, have been together for 10 years, 2.5 years married. You know what I'm noticing about Reddit? I'm noticing on Reddit that the age and sex of everyone that they're talking about is no different than being on AIM back in the day and being like ASL. Some of y'all are going to remember that. Some of y'all might know about that life. Or the from ICQ. Anyways, I still hear that in my dreams. Fucking annoying ass sound. Okay. She had 2 kids, 2 and 3, when we got together. 6 years ago, we had my daughter. 2 weeks ago, she told me that she had been talking to another guy and that she had developed feelings for him and needed time and space to see if what she felt was what she was missing in me or if she had truly been unhappy for the last 1.5 years. Bye, Felicia. Go. You have my blessing to get the fuck out of my life. The moment you catch feelings for another person, that's it. That's it. I don't need to know anything more because the infidelity is there. We're done. I would rather there be meaningless sex to fulfill some weird kink or I can accept that, the sex aspect without an emotional attachment, a whole lot more than I can accept an emotional attachment. Not fucking with that. I stayed for the rest of the week and fought to try and save us. I brought up everything I could think of, therapy, counseling, you name it, but it didn't matter. I left Saturday and he moved in the same day. I've given her and the kids everything, would do anything for them. I know that we won't get back together because I can't get over the fact that I was replaced overnight. You were replaced before overnight. Dumbass. You were replaced way before overnight. You think that you weren't replaced before this? I'm just struggling to keep it together. Every time I see her when I get the kids, I want to tell her to come back, but I don't know if it's worth it. If we did get back together, this would happen again and again. Where is a good place to start to heal? By accepting the fact that she doesn't want you and like she hasn't wanted you for a long time. That's where that's at for me. Like this is a whole ass thing, guys. I really, the idea of that, the feeling aspect really fucking gets to me. If my wife told me that she caught feelings for another person, it would break my fucking heart, dude. Like, I don't know how I would be able to handle that. The thought of that fucking messes with my mental status. That's the end of this. I don't have any more in this document. Mr. IT guy, we are at the end of the list. But this is more than enough content for a Friday episode, and the kids will be home soon. So you guys just want to hang out in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and then we can BS. Guys, thanks for tuning in. If you are not a member of a Patreon community, you missed a whole lot of cool things that happened and a whole lot of chat that was going on behind the scenes. Highly recommend that you go to tobebetter.com/join. Join at the $15 tier, get access to the Discord, and join us. Be a member of the tribe. One of us. See you guys on the next one.